Welcome to Intentionality with Dominique, the show that helps business owners become valued and in-demand suppliers in the marketplace to scale their businesses. Let's start today's show with host and intentional connector, Dominique Simpson Milton.
Intentionality with Dominique is designed to spotlight successful entrepreneurs, those who've made it past the critical 10-year mark and have valuable insights to share. Their journeys offer lessons that can help less experienced business owners avoid common pitfalls and grow stronger faster. Because the more businesses we help to survive, the stronger our economy becomes. We also feature corporate leaders who have been intentional in opening doors of opportunity for diverse suppliers and small business owners. Today, we're spotlighting Sahra Halpern, President and CEO of Business Consortium Fund, to learn more about access to capital and how business owners should effectively utilize capital resources. Sahra, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Dominique. It's so great to be here.
Always good to see you. So, Sahra, let's start with the basics. For those who may not know, what is a CDFI and how does BCF uniquely serve small business owners, especially those who have been historically underserved?
Thank you for starting there, Dominique. A lot of people don't know what CDFIs are. They may have heard of the acronym, and we'd love more people to know exactly what we are, what we do, and how we serve small businesses. So a CDFI is a community development financial institution, and we came out of a community lending responsibility that a lot of us felt decades ago, and over the past 60, 70 years, we've grown to serve small businesses across the United States, many of which are in economically disadvantaged areas. So we have small businesses in small towns, in rural areas, in big cities. We really serve the entire United States, but what we focus on is businesses that don't have the same access as larger businesses have.
Well, it's good to know that your reach is nationwide.
It is, yes.
Okay, excellent. So one of the biggest barriers for small business owners is access to capital. What is the real barrier you see when entrepreneurs try to secure funding, and how does BCF step in to close that gap?
Yes. So a lot of small businesses may initially go to a bank and they think a bank's going to provide a small business loan, right? So they go to the bank seeking capital, but many banks will not look at small businesses. They won't even fund small dollar loans. And I'm talking about loans under maybe $250,000. So the bank will say no, but then the business owner doesn't know where to go. And that's where CDFIs come in. But what we find is that many of the small businesses that come to us aren't prepared to take on capital quite yet, because they have a great business, they've been operating, they know they need capital, but they may not have been focused on getting their financial papers in order. So they may come to us and say, I think we need $100,000, we need $200,000. How can you help us? But then there's a lot of homework to do. And so we see that borrowers come to us not having done the homework, but you know what? They often don't know what the homework is.
And that's critical. One of the things that I say, I have about 5 pitfalls that are common, but one of the biggest ones is readiness, right? So is your paperwork in order? When they go through our certification process, they get their paperwork in order. But we have people who they missed out on PPP loans because they could not get their paperwork in order to be able to apply for a loan. So I'm sure that you see that quite a bit, right? So I'm always coaching. Make sure your documents are in order, put them in the binder. So when you go to the bank, it's just right there like a book. They can just read it right in front of them, right? So how do you help them with understanding what is important to have and how you should present yourself? Do you work with them in that capacity?
Absolutely. And I always say small businesses know about giving their pitch, giving their elevator pitch, and we talk about giving your lender pitch. Know exactly what it is you need and what you need the money for, how you're going to spend it. And to prepare for that, you need to provide at least 3 years of bank statements, tax returns. You need to really know the inside and outside of your of your finances, of your books. How much money's coming in? How much money is going out? What do you have left over at the end of every month? And one thing we see is that our clients tend to extract a lot of money out of their business, not leaving much cash on the balance sheet. They think, well, it's, we want to spend, we want to invest, maybe we want to minimize our taxes. But what a lender looks for is they're looking to see that cash remains on your balance sheet to repay a loan. When you take down this loan, you're going to have a monthly payment. So we want to make sure that you are bringing in more revenue than expenses so that you have enough cushion to comfortably pay that monthly payment. And that's the only way really that a business loan will help you grow, right? You take in the additional dollars, invest in your company, but you need to make sure you have that margin to repay that loan on a monthly basis.
We call that being capital ready.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
And that really depends on the interest rate. So come in knowing what kind of interest rate you might be expecting. For a CDFI, you may see anywhere between 8 and 12% interest. Know what kind of interest you can bear. There are lots of calculators online. There's a lot of research we can do. Of course, use AI, right, to get a sense of what kind of a loan size your business can carry.
Yeah. But there's a whole strategy behind it. And so getting capital ready, we have an actual course for that. And I understand that you're now teaching the readiness portion of it because, there's work that has to be done before you even pick up the phone to call the banker, right? So you need to get your paperwork in order. So let's talk about timing of everything, Sahra. When it comes to getting funding, timing can be critical for small business owners. Can you walk us through how long it typically takes BCF to close and fund a loan and what business owners should have ready before they apply to help streamline the process? You talked about some of it, but let's just give them a real scope of the timing.
Absolutely. And the timing so depends on your ready availability of the documents, but it also depends on whether you will be able to offer up collateral. It depends on how complex the structure of your business is, how many owners there are, for example. So there are quite a few dependencies for timing. But what really can speed up the timing is coming prepared with those formation documents, with those tax returns, quarterly financial statements, if you have them, really, really helpful, bank statements, the knowledge of what kind of loan you could potentially receive, what size you can potentially receive. So we're going in with realistic expectations. One thing that does slow things down is if there's some real estate collateral. Real estate collateral is not a requirement for all loan sizes at BCF or any lender, but if you're looking at a larger loan, there will likely be a collateral requirement, and then we'll have to do documentation and legal documentation around that. So, and this is not to create any scare or to make things seem more complicated. But it really does depend on the loan size. We'll go as low as a $25,000 loan. That's easy. That can be quick. But when you're looking at a loan size of $500,000 or more, it's going to take a little bit more time to document it. And when I say time, I say 6 to 8 weeks.
6 to 8 weeks. And so you're talking about the timing. So what I tell people is to put your cash flow and your loan plan into your business plan. So you really should be going after this capital before you really need it. Would you agree?
That's a fact. Yep, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And somebody picks up the phone and it's an emergency and they need this money overnight, that's a red flag, right? So we need to be very intentional and planful in this.
I would say it could be a red flag, but it could also, and what we recognize is that business owners are really good at their business. They may not be great at finance. They may not be great at numbers. Some of our business owners have experienced some sort of financial trauma. They may have experienced being turned away multiple times from banks. And so that makes business owners reluctant really to even look in the direction of the financial services provider. But we want our borrowers to know that they are very welcome here, that we're here to help them, and that we will help them understand how to get there together.
That's good. And then, Sahra, there's good debt and there's bad debt, right? So what we're talking about here is good debt. If you're getting money to help your business over the long term, to help you scale, to provide cash flow so that you're not worried about that on a day-to-day basis and you can focus on the growth of the business, that's a good thing, right? So we're not talking about credit card debt here. We're talking about a loan that's going to help your business expand and contract when it needs to.
And what we always say is if the debt adds to your worries, adds to your anxieties, it's not good debt. One thing we do find is that, as I was saying earlier, how businesses, they may be scared, they may be reluctant, anxious to go to a financial services provider. They really need it. It is an emergency. And then they might go and get a merchant cash advance, right? We all hear about alternative financing.
Yeah.
Some of it's okay, and some of it's dangerous. And we see clients coming to us with 30% interest rate merchant cash advances because they didn't prepare, they weren't able to prepare earlier to get more responsible finance or more responsible credit. One thing that BCF does is we are happy to refinance as long as, the rest of your business looks good. We'll refinance that merchant cash advance into a more responsible loan with a favorable interest rate.
That's good. That's very good to know. And another thing I tell business owners is, it's the norm, right? You don't want to lean on somebody. And so you want to get money from auntie. You want to use all of your savings. You want to take from your 401k. You do all of that. And now you look broke, right? Your numbers look bad. And then you go to get the loan because you really need it, right? And so if you were to not use all of you really shouldn't be using your 401k loan and your credit cards and auntie's money. You should strategically plan to get loans from proper institutions at proper rates, make that part of your business plan, and then you can operate more efficiently and your credit looks better because your personal credit ties into your business credit. Agreed?
Dominique, yes. You are saying all of the things that everybody should absolutely know. What we see is that, or rather, we don't see it. The data tells us that 90% of small business owners reach into their own pockets to fund their businesses. Now, a lot of the times, the businesses that we're serving have less of that money in the pocket to finance their business. Like you said, yes, they go to the 401ks, they go to the friends and family. And then once they've depleted all those resources, do they have money to repay a responsible loan? They don't. So please, as you're thinking about growing your business, and this is to all entrepreneurs, all small businesses out there, look at the broad array of financial institutions out there. When you're starting out, consider a CDFI. And as you grow and as you gain more financial stamina and your business grows and your margins grow, then you can graduate to a bank loan and to all the other financial products that are available in the marketplace to fund your business. Please don't go down to the bare threads of your pockets. There are so many other alternatives out there.
Absolutely. And that's why we're talking today. So BCF doesn't just provide loans, Sahra. You also focus on capacity building and corporate connections. Can you share how your technical assistance or partnership with procurement teams have helped a small business grow or win opportunities?
Oh my gosh. This is what I think makes BCF so special and why I'm just thrilled to be able to lead this organization. We have so many wonderful partnerships with corporations across the United States, with NMSDC's regional councils, with other small business support organizations out there like ICIC, the Small Business Majority. We're really partnering with organizations across the country to make our products just more available to all small businesses. And I have so many great stories about how these work. One, we have this attorney in California, and she decided to go independent. But she decided to go independent and leave her big law firm, unfortunately, right at the time of the pandemic. And that really hurt her business. She saw a lot of her business dry up, and she had a line of credit from a major bank, and the bank wanted to pull her line of credit. So she came to us for a small loan. But she didn't have a way to repay it because she had no contracts. We were able to introduce her to one of our large corporate corporate banking partners. She was already in their system because she was a certified MBE. She had gone through channels and had been approved on their system. And when we reintroduced her to the head of supplier diversity at this bank, she was able to get a new contract. She was able to get a small loan from us, and then she was able to get a bigger loan from us. So that's one example of a fantastic outcome due to these partnerships. And Dominique, do I have time for one more?
You do have time for one more. Yes, absolutely. I love that story because it talks about the full service that you're providing. It's not just the money. You're involved in the entire business and you're developing a relationship. You have another story to share?
I do. I have another great story to share. Another fantastic client of ours, who I understand is part of your ecosystem, Dominique. He has a product that is on major retailers' shelves, and we've been working with him for a very long time, helping his business grow. And through a conversation with another president of a regional council and one of her corporate members, we're in the process of getting this product on the shelves of a third major retailer. So we saw him from the beginning. We started him with a small loan, helped him grow. And through these relationships, we're helping him grow even more. And that is what makes BCF unique in the CDFI ecosystem. We focus on the supply chain. We focus on products that are at major retailers. We work together with the councils and other and the corporations that really are focused on growing these small businesses. And we help all of these organizations thrive by providing capital access.
That is awesome. I'm glad to hear that you're working with corporate partners. And so I understand your goal is not just to serve business owners, but directly, but also to work with partners like organizations like the chambers and SBDCs and large corporations. What do you want these groups to understand about working with BCF and the impact that partnerships can have on diverse suppliers?
Even though we're a national organization, it really is all about the local economy. And when you have large corporations and you have these regional partners working together to strengthen small businesses in community, it has so many benefits. Think about, any large corporation. They need their local clients. They need their local customers. What better way to create more local clients and more loyal clients than working with the small businesses in that community, awarding them when they're contract ready, awarding them contracts, seeing these businesses grow, relying on them more as their trusted supply chain partners, seeing the economic effects in jobs and wages and expanding health insurance. And then you have more clients and more customers for your business that say, hey, I know about this company because my friend, my family member has been working with them for a long time. And what a great community outcome if we can all work together to strengthen local economies.
That is so good because a dollar invested with any one of our suppliers returns $1.72 to the economy. So you're spot on, right? It is a relationship. It is building an economy where you live and work. So I really appreciate you today being here, sharing about your BCF. Sahra, do you have a favorite word for this year that you want to leave us with and let us know what you're focused on this year?
Yeah, I do, Dominique. Thanks for asking that. The word for me is belonging. And belonging is so important because when our client comes to BCF, we hope that they see a staff and a leadership team that resembles them, that has had similar experiences to them, that really understands why it is that they are where they are in their journey, that can help them along their journey. And when you have a sense of belonging, whether it be in your community or even in your financial institution, it really gives you a strong sense of self. We're all in it together. And that's what we want our clients to know, that we're here for them. They belong with us and we belong to this community together, and that we're here to help them thrive.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you for always showing up when we call. to make sure that you're front and center with our business owners to share with them the support the BCF offers. So thank you, Sahra.
Thank you, Dominique.
Yes, and if you'd like to learn more about how Sahra Halpern and how the Business Consortium Fund can support your next project or provide resources for your business, visit bcfcapital.com or email loans@bcfcapital.com. Well, that concludes today's episode of Intentionality. Be sure to join me for our next episode, and remember that we must always, always remain intentional to gain knowledge, skills, and connections so we can grow and thrive in business together. I'm Dominique Simpson Milton, and I will see you next time.
This has been another episode of Intentionality with Dominique, brought to you by the CVMSDC. For more information, please visit cvmsdc.org.